Hello, this is Solomon Davis, Right Side Trader. Today is February 24th, 2024, and this is my weekly market review where I'm reviewing the Russell 2000, that's IWM, on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only. As we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading, so please check with your financial advisor, please check with your significant other, and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, let's jump right over here and take a quick look at the Russell and see what's been going on this week. Minimize. We'll do this. Then let me maximize this chart. All right, the Russell is still trying to look like a bull. You know, we got a red cross here near the top, so that's some indecision in the market. We got to kind of like wait here. We are just in the second month of the year when it comes to these quarterly pivots and all. But it's looking like the Russell may want to join this whole bullish party that all the other indexes are in. But the Russell has that level there. As you can see, this right here is one of my resistance line or supply lines, ever how you want to look at it. We're in this little range right here. And the Russell, it can end up creating as you can see, the Russell, this is in general, this is pretty much a topping sideways pattern. In general, this is a pretty large sideways pattern where the Russell really didn't go that far, didn't go that much all year long. So, in my opinion, you was able to identify a range for it. And the question is, are we going to get to a point where we're going to identify a range for the Russell again? So that's what I'm looking at here on this quarterly picture. And I'll see what is it going to do. Is it going to finally turn over, or is it going to try to pop that top and go higher? All right, but let's go down to the monthly chart and see what we see. And you can see how the Russell looks so choppy, you know, all the last year or two. And after it dropped down from where it was looking at real choppy, how the Russell looks and all. Right now for the month, we do have a green month. I'll zoom in a little bit here now, and where you can see this on a little bit bigger picture. But we are having a problem at this level right here, this 202 level. And like I've been saying, can we get a close above 205? You know, if this thing going to turn to a bull, that's what has to happen. If it's going to drop, let it go ahead and drop. You know, and I can, again, but still, I don't see it dropping. Right now, I'm saying, I don't think it's going to have to drop below 190 maybe for the year. Because the Russell can end up in a really tight range up here somewhere, and just go sideways. But it is bullish right now. And again, the Russell is one of these ones where it's hard to look for a real true trend on it, to do trend trading type thing, but it's the perfect candidate for me to trade it based on a ranging stock. But let's go ahead and go down to the no trade recommendations there. It's just what I'm seeing in the way I'm kind of looking at my whole trading plan around the Russell at this time. But let's go on down to the weekly chart and see what we see here. Now this is what it was kind of like nice last year. It was getting some nice big swings in the Russell and all, but this year it just hasn't happened yet. It hasn't really developed yet. You know, it's kind of like back here where the Russell it was swing, it was choppy. Look at this, looked really crazy, but it was in a tight little range. You know, and now will that happen again? That's what I'm wondering right now. So, but let me zoom in here where you can see a little bit better. See, we got a bottom here and a top here. Will it stay within that range? And this bottom is around that 190, and it's below 190, and the top is around 205. And that's where my 205 come from, guys. If you saw me talking about, will it pop 205? That's just this most recent high. And then if it's going to drop, will it drop down here before this most recent swing low? That's what I call a swing high. And this is what I call a swing low, because it's my most recent, you know, highest point, and this is my most recent lowest point that I'm looking at. Leave it at that. But as we can see, look like it may have made another topping pattern. But if it's going to drop, you know, since we do have a higher low a lower high, but we didn't get a lower low. It's kind of still inside of this whole thing, even though we're looking at the wicks. And before, the last week, we did have a higher low and a higher high, but that now it didn't break its previous high, even though it didn't make a newer low. So now we got to kind of like see, first, most people now go to this high now, you know, and look at it, and they might go to this low, a low not quite as low, and all to see if it's going to actually reverse this trend. But right now, the Russell is not in a trend. The Russell, in my opinion, is just going sideways. So that's the way you have to. That's the way I look at it right now. And it gets kind of scary when the range is so tight. When it's what's that? 187 and all the 205. That's a really. If you say 185 to 205. That's 20 points. That's nothing, compared to what some of these other indexes are doing, unless you're looking at the Dow. But that's why it's kind of getting, I've been talking about the Qs a little bit more and all, but I missed out on a trade. Good pass on that. But as we can see on the Russell is in a sideways market. It is making a topping pattern. The thing is, will you get a follow through on that? Let's go ahead and look at the daily noise and see what's happening there. And here's where we had this, on that was a Friday. Then we had a holiday. We did get a follow through on that on the drop, and we got another day on that on the drop. It didn't really come down here and fill this gap that we was probably kind of expecting it to come down here and fill. It did trade down into that gap and came out of it and all. So again, it did fill some orders that was in there in that area probably, and now on the daily chart we can see these higher lows and higher highs. That's why, again, like I'm saying, look like on the one picture, look like we may have a topping pattern, but here on this daily picture we can see that this thing is trying to march back out of there. And again, I have my supply line, my resistance line. We have to get a close above this to see if this thing is really ready to go and take off. And then we really have to break this high that we are seeing here to see if this thing really ready to take off. And that's about all I really want to share here on the Russell. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye.